Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Bondist podcast. We are back from our long venture around America. Just kidding. But kind of around America. It's the start.
I mean, we went from basically the West Coast to the East Coast. I mean, Utah, I guess, isn't the West Coast, but that flight felt like we went from one coast to another.
It did. But it was a good trip. So, as you guys know, I went to Amangiri for my birthday. And it was so fun. We had a really, really good time. I had some anxiety in the beginning because I hadn't been back in Utah since I was in my wilderness therapy program. And if it's your first time listening to the podcast and you don't know my story, I would go look at my Instagram highlight on my Instagram page, The Dallas Esthetician, called Wilderness.
Or
listen to the podcast.
Or go on her TikTok and her pinned videos are talking about her experience as well.
Yeah. So, long story long, I was sent to a wilderness therapy program when I was 15 for trigger warning, self-harm, suicide attempts, depression, anxiety, eating disorder. I mean, literally every mental problem that you could have, that was me. And it saved my life, but it also was a very traumatic experience. So I was a little nervous about coming back. But it was actually very cathartic to come from pooping in a hole, not having any electricity, living outside, no warmth, sleeping in a sleeping bag, not having anything like a pillow or a blanket, no real food, hiking every single day, living in dirty clothing. I mean, no razors, no blow dry. I mean, nothing. From that to going to one of the top 10 resorts in the world, it was pretty crazy. So, yeah, it was a really fun trip, an expensive trip, but honestly, one of those that you want to splurge on, especially given the sentimental background of it. I was like, hey, yeah. And you don't go for a super long time, too. It's not one of those places you're supposed to stay 10 days. I usually like to stay on trips. So we only stayed there for 5 days, and we did a lot of fun stuff. So we hiked.
Let's go play by play.
Okay, you go.
Okay, so we took a flight there, and basically this hotel is in the middle of nowhere. So you have to, people get there a couple different ways, but the main ways are either flying into Phoenix or Vegas and driving 3 hours. There's a really small airport right next to the resort, 30-minute drive that a lot of people will take private air to. Or there's this really small regional airline called Contour Airline, something like that. And I think they only have flights from Phoenix to Page. Maybe they do more, but I don't know. This plane had 10 rows, 30 seats total. It was not the smallest plane I've ever been on, but it was up there. And so we took the plane and then we got picked up. We had a decent amount of bags, and so we asked the driver who picked us up to help us with our bags. And then you can take it from there.
So Tyler was inside, and the guy was like, hey, can you, lift the seat back for me? And I was like, for sure, Z's. And so I, turn all the way. I'll show you. Like this. If you're watching the YouTube video. And I just, popped the lever, because I thought it was just, would pop, and then I'd have to, push it manually. You guys, this thing flies full fucking speed into my face, and I thought I broke my nose. I had tears in my eyes. My nose was red for 48 hours. I literally thought in that instant I broke my nose, and it fucked my neck up again, because you guys know I have a herniated disc, and everyone's asking me on Instagram, do you feel better? You haven't been posting about it. And I'm just not gonna post hey guys, I'm in pain every single day,
all day, because that's what it is.
But I'll let you know when I'm not in pain.
Yeah.
But side note to that, I'm not getting surgery. I decided against it. I actually was supposed to go see a pain management person today, but I ghosted him because I didn't want to go. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. We got back yesterday.
Yeah.
What? What?
Because you should have gone. So we'll just move past that.
I should have gone, but it was just a consult, and also it was like so far away. And if you live in Dallas, you know, everything's like far away from each other. And I'll go eventually. Just
with all your free time.
I don't want him to put me on like hard drugs.
I don't think they would. I think it's like one of those places where they'd like either give you what your dad got, which is some sort of
Yeah, but I kind of want to go see this guy
epidural
in
or
Trophy
some sort
Club instead that does like stem cell stuff.
Okay.
So there's a reason why I didn't go.
Okay. Well,
Because I want to go to like a more like holistic approach doctor and not someone that's just going to like put steroid shots in me. And
I love steroid shots,
well, that's great for you.
but I hate pills. So
I know.
You know, that's
Yeah.
weird. It's when I get a sore throat, that's when a steroid shot is literally a cure-all. Like it's gone in like 12 hours. Like
Yeah.
go to sleep, it's gone. And sore throats are the bane of my existence.
Mhm.
But anyways, so Savannah got her neck a little
tweaked.
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 I don't think tweaked is the right.
Tweaked.
Tweaked from getting full body slammed by the seat of this SUV.
Yeah.
And
That's
I come
okay.
out.
But the guy
and-
was laughing so hard. He was like, that's the best thing I've ever seen. And I was like, that's so fucking rude.
I mean,
But I
don't
wish
know
you
how
saw it.
Yeah, I wish I saw it.
It was so
too.
funny. It was actually funny. I mean, it really
Yeah.
was.
I mean, she was like tearing up for like 10 minutes into the car ride. Like I could tell it was like still stinging, you know?
oh,
like,
yeah. No, it didn't feel good.
Yeah.
But then we get to the resort
Mm-hmm.
and we were supposed to go out to dinner. But one thing about me is like my first night at a resort, like I just want to unpack and I just want
Her
to
first
like,
night anywhere.
okay. Yeah. I just want to unpack and I just want to like chill out, get the lay of the land. Like I just want to relax. We got in at like 3. It took us like a while to unpack and I'm exhausted. It was a long travel day and my shoulder flared up so bad from the flight. So, what did we do that night? We just ordered room service.
Okay, so here's a preface about this property is that the nightly average of the rooms is really fucking expensive, but like the band-aid that you can put on that, I guess, is that the food is included with the price. So it's like an all-inclusive resort. It's really small. It only has 34 rooms.
Yep.
And so yeah, the food is all included. So we get in, we're like, okay, we had a reservation in the dining room, but
Yeah.
we were like, it doesn't really matter because the menu is basically the same either way.
So let's just eat here.
Yeah. And so we got like a little tasting menu. And this was like our first test of how is our dining experience going to go on this trip. Because, okay, so there are only 2 restaurants on property, one at the main property. And then there's like a second location they have that's
For the rich people, like
Well,
the rich people.
I mean, yes and no. Like
Yeah.
it's like if you have like 2 friends and you split it, it's like the same cost as
Yeah, I
it's like a
guess.
2-bedroom.
Yeah.
It's like like glamping. It's like
Bad
tents.
bitches go to Camp Sarika. Busted bitches go to
I don't
main
think that's true.
main campus.
So there's 2 restaurants, one at Camp Sarika, which is where there's like 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom little tent. I don't want to call them tents, but they look like tents, but they're actually like rooms, houses, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call them. And so the Camp Sarika dining the menu is changing every single day. And then at the main place, there's one menu that stays the same all the time. There's only like 15 options, and that's what we had to eat for the course of our stay. So you ordered these garlic soy noodles. I ordered a pepperoni pizza.
And then I
then
got chicken,
Chicken.
which was so scary.
Yeah. No, that was the first night's chicken was the worst.
It was so scary. And then I got turkey meatballs, which tasted like
The Sahara Desert. They were just
bad.
so dry.
They're so dry.
And
But
so it was
was
a pretty
okay.
but
woke up skinny.
the soy garlic noodles.
Yeah, but like it's an entree, but it's like literally
it's this
like
big.
7 noodles. And so the next time we ordered, we were like, bring 4.
Yeah. Well, I said, can we do a big portion of the soy garlic noodles? And they were like, no, but I can give you 2. And I was like, boy, 2 is still like smaller than an appetizer.
Like we want 7.
Yeah. So we did.
But they were actually so fucking good. Like I would go back for those noodles, and not saying a lot.
No, they were better than any Asian noodles we've ever had anywhere in
my
Dallas.
entire life.
Yeah.
I would say even better than where's that place we like?
Din Tai Fung.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely better than Din Tai Fung.
I mean, they were just
They were
scrumdiddlyumptious.
I was like, if you can make noodles this good, why can the rest of your menu not be as good? Like,
facts.
so we ate, and then the next day we just had a pool day, I think.
Yeah. It was a pool
Yeah.
day. We went to the spa.
Oh wait, we're missing something.
I went to the spa.
We're missing something from the day before.
The man.
Yes.
Okay, so we get in, and this sweet lady who clearly hated her job, is like bringing us around the hotel.
She was so
like,
quiet.
so
I literally
quiet.
had to hold onto her shoulder so I could
Hear what
listen
she
to
was
her
saying.
mouth. Like she was
Just
so
whispering.
quiet.
But then it all made sense. So we're walking, and then this big man starts just like screaming. You can do the voice.
I can't do the voice. Like he just like out of nowhere,
Like
we're
huge,
walking.
tall, large man.
Yeah, and like starts like gets in her face while she's giving us a tour, mind you, and starts yelling at her, saying, "You didn't do your job. You
lied. You never told them.
You never told them. I had to walk all the way down here to get my bag. It's been 25 minutes." I was like, first of all, I could walk from one side of the resort to the other.
Okay,
and
but
like,
now that we had like our experience with the Cokes that never came, and like many things.
but he had just checked in.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I get it. I don't, but like I now that after everything we experienced there, I'm like,
okay,
but
yeah.
he only had one bad thing happen and he lost his shit. We never lost our shit and we had multiple bad things happen.
That's my point, is like his reaction did
No,
not
it was not
warrant.
okay.
Like he probably had to walk 40 seconds to the front desk to get his carry-on luggage after 25 minutes. But yeah, he's like berating this woman in front of us, and Savannah and I,
we just
it
looked
was
to the
always,
side,
I know, we literally took a step away, and I was like, you know what? You ever see those YouTube videos or like that TV shows that are like, what would you do? And like they set up this fake scenario where someone's like doing something and like they're trying to see if anyone will be the savior. And I'm like, I always thought I would be, but damn, I will not be. Like he was scary. I'm running away with my tail tucked between my legs.
He literally could have like picked us up by his like thumb and then like flung us across the property. And so anyway, then I like give her a hug and I'm like, I'm so sorry that you went through that. Like I would have cried on the spot. Like you don't deserve that. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, rich people are assholes. And then
she chuckled.
And then she was so nice to us after that. And she like had more pep in her step. But yeah, the managers were around too. And that's what I think the worst part was there was like literally 2 male managers standing right there. And they were like, see and hear nothing.
They were like, oh, does that light bulb look loose to you? Like
yeah,
just
crazy. But yeah, so then the next day, I got a massage by this beautiful woman named Heather, who I ended up following on Instagram, and she had a toe thumb as well, and she's my toe thumb sister. And the cool thing about toe thumbs, actually, that I learned, 1, it means that you're royalty, and 2, it means that you're a bad bitch, and 3, it means that you have the thumb of a healer. And so most people that have toe thumbs are actually estheticians or massage therapists or some kind of like healing thing. Because the
did
power.
Heather tell you that, or was that independent research?
That's what she told me.
Okay, I didn't know.
But I researched it after, and they say it's the healer thumb. Okay. So, anywho, I have a healing thumb,
and so did Heather,
and so did motherfucking Heather. She did active release therapy on me and fixed me. She cured me. She literally healed me. Okay, I was healed. She literally was like, "You have a tendon," and she's like moving this tendon, and she put it back into place. I don't even know. I mean, I cried. I was like, I love you. And I don't know if you guys have seen White Lotus, but I was literally Jennifer Coolidge in White Lotus. Like, I was like, I'm going to stalk the fuck out of this lady.
Yeah, like please come have dinner with me.
Like, no, like, I will fund your own spa. Like, I will give you a small loan. But she was amazing. And then she was like, oh, yeah, I leave. Today's my Friday, so I'm not going to be back
for the rest of your...
Because basically what we learned, because it's like out there, guys, like it's so out there that like the time zone changes, and me and Tyler were so confused with what time it was.
Yeah, our phones had 2 different time zones.
All the time, every time. And then it would switch, and then mine would be right, and then his would be wrong, and then mine would be wrong, and then his would be right. So we'd have to like call the front desk every day and be like, what fucking time is it? We don't know what time it is, because you're literally in such a remote area. It's like right in between Arizona and Utah. Anyway, so crazy. That was crazy. Anyways, and so basically, long story long, is a lot of them live in Page, Arizona, and then they'll go up there. But a lot of people live like in like St. George or like deeper in Utah, and it's like a 2.5 hour drive. So like they're not going to do that every morning and night. So they'll like work for a couple weeks and like stay at a friend's house, or like some of them have a house that they like all rent
like
together.
A communal house.
Yeah, and then like one will take care of it for the 2 weeks, and then they'll switch. And so lots of things that I learned about that. But anyways, Heather left. And then she was like, I was like, who's the next best person? And she was like, go to Corey. And I was like, slay. Corey better, do great. Corey did not do great. Corey actually made my pain worse. I don't know what Corey did, but Corey did not do that at all. And so then I was back in pain, which wasn't very fun. But, it was okay. Other than that, it was good, And then they comped my massage because they forgot to book Tyler's massage. And so then they comped both of our massages. So then we got like 2 $500 massages for free 99. So I was like, that's okay. Like, that's fine. I'm good with that. And then what else? And then...
No, you jumped ahead. We need to jump back.
Okay.
First excursion was Slot Canyons.
Yes, which I thought I would not like because I don't like hiking. But I think I'm a hiker. I want to go to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I want to go to Montana. I want to go hike in Switzerland. I love the mountains now. I really do. Like, I had such a good time. And you guys know I'm a beach girly through and through, but like low key, the scenery on these mountainous places is honestly better. But no ocean. But that's okay. Is it? I don't know. But I did really enjoy the trip. I thought it was really fun. It's just a lot more active, which is cool. I typically am not like the most person that likes to be active, especially since like my whole life is stress. Like, I just don't prefer to like move that much when I don't have to. But I loved the hiking. I was sad when it ended. I wanted more. I was skip hopping, jumping around. Like, I was a little rabbit in those canyons, and it was so fun. And they had this one canyon called Rattlesnake Canyon that is super teeny, skinny, tiny. Like, it's literally like a rattlesnake, okay? Like, if you get claustrophobic, don't do it. But it made us feel so skinny. Like, that's probably what they did back in the day to see, like, if you were, like, gaining weight when they didn't have scales. It'd probably be, like, try to get through this little canyon. And if you get stuck, you should lose weight. Because they, apparently, okay, this is also jumping ahead. But that's fine. So, we were riding horses, right? And we were just like, how do you know, like, what horses to bring, right?
Oh, no.
What
I
did you
can
ask?
tell the story.
Okay.
So you actually asked her, do these horses have weight limit on them? And then she was like, yeah, we can go up to like, I think we have like one horse that can hold like 275 pounds. And she was like, that's how we know
what horses
to bring. And that's why the resort asks you guys for your heights and weights. And Savanna, like, I've done most of the communication with the resort, with booking the excursions and everything. So she was like, oh, okay. And I was sitting there and we were like, I was in the back. So it was like the girl who was taking us on the tour, Cheyenne. So there was Cheyenne, then Savanna, we were all in a line and I was at the back. And so I'm sitting there, gallop. And I'm thinking, I'm like, did I give them our height and weights? And I was like, no, I fucking didn't. And so I was like, I don't think I gave them our height and weights. And she was like, what? Really? She has been doing these tours for forever and has completely thought that the resort asked us for our heights and weights. And Savannah's like, no way, they had to have. And I was like, no, they didn't. Like, I was positive then. And I was like, can you look at your phone right now and tell me what they gave for our heights and weights?
Yeah.
And
they said I was 5'5". They gave me 2 inches. They said I was 5'5", 130 pounds.
Yeah. So, and then they actually got me dead on. But my question was,
who's the one out there, like, looking us up and down, trying to get our body types?
Exactly. Like, that was exactly what I said.
Way off with my weight, but that was okay. Yeah. But everyone holds weight so differently.
Yeah, but I feel like they were still off with your weight, but for them giving you an extra 2 inches, it like
evened out.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But anyway, so we were just like, that's weird.
That's so weird.
But then it all made sense because then we were like, oh, like that's why they know if you can go to Rattlesnake Canyon or not. Because she was like, yeah, no, there's times where like I'll have to leave some of the group behind because they like won't fit. Like, yeah. And I'm telling you guys, like Tyler and I are like little boards. Like, I could not imagine like me like before I had my son with like my boobs would have got me stuck inside that canyon. Like my titties alone.
There was one turn in particular that was like
very sketchy.
Yeah,
like
very
I like almost thought I couldn't fit through it.
Yeah.
And I'm like at my smallest right now. I mean, I'm telling you, like infants. And so, yeah, she was saying that Rattlesnake Canyon's actually like the Kardashians' favorite canyon because
like they will only just go to that one.
Yeah, but it's cool because it's literally like a rattlesnake.
No,
it's tipsy-turvy, topsy.
So pretty, like stunning, gorgeous. Our guide was really cool. I don't remember her name.
I don't either.
Sorry, no, I just
but
had a little
she was telling
burp.
me that a lot of people from our resort will like go on like drugs and stuff, and then
she was saying they'll do like Molly or like
shrooms
and acid and stuff like that. And they like she was like, yeah, we have to babysit. I was like, absolutely not.
And then she said some people will come in and like spread ashes of their family members, and then they have to have like a whole like spiritual medicine man come and like re-bless the land because it's Navajo Nation's land. So fun fact that we learned. So this land is owned by the Navajo family, or like the family that owns.
No, so
What's their
it's
last name?
on Navajo land, but there is a family that owns this specific
All the
chunk of the
canyons.
where like the most popular tourist canyons are, and they kind of like monopolized it. And there are like 5 brothers that own, or like maybe 5 brothers and sisters, like
Yeah.
5 siblings that
But the
own.
CEO of Amangiri is the daughter of the main owner,
Yeah.
and so she gave Amangiri like
exclusive rights to these like. Because anyone can, there's the most popular one that's open to the public is Upper Antelope Canyon, and that sees like over 3,000 people every single day. But we also saw these 2 other canyons, Rattlesnake Canyon and
Owl Canyon.
Owl Canyon. And those 2 are private canyons and
Just for
only,
Amangiri
yeah.
and their family.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's just for Amangiri. It's just they're private.
Yeah.
Because there's 5 companies that runs the tours, and I think it was just for
Amangiri.
Yeah, like that. So
anyways, cool, fun fact. And then, we went to the Owl Canyon, which was really cool, and it had an owl. We
2.
did see. What were they called? Gray something. A great owl. Great gray owl or something.
There were 2 owls.
Yeah.
But one wasn't looking at us, but one was
giving us the eye down.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn.
And that one was really wide. Anyone could go in that one.
Yeah. That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody could fit. You can fit a truck in there.
You probably could.
So we did that, and then it was really fun. And then we came back to the room, and then
we were going
went to the
to
pool.
do Via Ferrata, which Savanna couldn't do because
my neck, my back, my
and we were
crap.
sad about it. I don't know if Savanna was sad about it, but it was supposed to be the number. It was supposed to be like the number one activity.
Cool, but I also am terrified of narrow, like heights in general. I don't like live, laugh, love, but I really also, when it's narrow like that, like that's not my vibe. I don't.
What do you mean narrow?
Like scary. Like narrow as in narrow, bitch.
Yeah, I thought you were like trying to say steep.
That steep, narrow. I don't like it.
Okay.
If it's like a good like a gradual incline.
I think it was.
I don't think it was, but that's okay. So anyways, we didn't do that. And then we went to the pool, and at the pool, I was just like vibing. I was reading my little self-help therapy books. I love Young Pablo.
Mm-hmm.
He has such great books. And so I was reading a book by him called The Way Forward, and beautiful, stunning.
His books
amazing.
read you like a book.
Yeah. And then I would put my AirPods in and go do water aerobics. And like this old lady, I never told you about this, but this old lady, she kept like giving me thumbs ups from like her thing. And it was making me so uncomfortable. And then Tyler made fun of me and took a video. But water aerobics is great. I'm trying to get a fat dump truck ass.
Is that going to do it?
Yeah. Water aerobics can help you get a dump truck ass. Squatting, which I have been doing, but mostly water aerobics.
Mostly? Oh, you are doing mostly water aerobics. I thought you were saying water aerobics.
I can't do Pilates right now, so I'm just going to focus on my glutes and my butt. But my butt was popping this trip, okay? It looked great. It did. And anyways, so I'm really excited about that. That's like my goal for this fall. Just have a fatty addy.
A tight fatty addy.
Yeah, slim, thick. What is it?
I don't know.
Bow, 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 bow. Maria, my personal assistant, has gotten me into Sexy Red because we were going to go see her in Tampa, but then Hurricane Helena came.
Well, no.
Which ain't sexy.
There was a sports game that made it get moved to the next night, and then it got canceled because of the hurricane. Okay. So it was like 2.
Yeah. 2 natural disasters.
Okay. I love sports being a natural disaster.
Sports have ruined everything for me. They ruined the Nicki Minaj concert.
Yeah, that's true.
They've ruined so many things for me.
Why do they get precedence?
Yeah, fuck them sports.
I'm sure people are spending more money on the concert.
Yeah.
Maybe actually. I don't know.
No. Or they can perform, like, why can't they just do split stage? You know?
That took me a second to process, and I got like a full picture, and
or like they could like sing while they do it.
Yeah. So anyway, Savanna, I'm like hiding in the shade because I just didn't feel like getting sun on this trip. I was like, and Savanna likes to have her like pinky toe out in the sun, so she feels like she's getting some sun. And so she was on a different bed than me, like out over in like a far corner. And I'm sitting like right in front of the pool. And this woman comes over. Let me back this up a little bit. The demographic that we are surrounded by at this resort.
Old white people.
Yes.
Old white people.
Yeah, like ancient.
Ancient.
Like very old, like all graying, which again, no hate, but like that's that. I'm just setting up the scenery because I
love old white people.
No, yeah.
My favorite.
Yeah, but like
favorite people are old white people.
We looked like we were in daycare compared to the rest.
Like they either thought we were nepo babies or influencers.
Yeah. Well,
I don't put myself in that bucket.
Okay. Sure.
I'm an entrepreneur.
You are. I think that's fair because the entrepreneur came before the influence. But
period.
So
I'm a small business owner.
So I'm sitting there and then this woman and like a full photographer and then her husband come out and she looks amazing. She has like these
Poochie on.
She is wearing a full Poochie swim set. She has like braids down to her fucking ankles. Like
she was like, and she was going off in the pool.
Yeah.
Okay, and all of these women are just judging her and judging her and judging her, and low key, Tyler was judging her too.
No, I was just like, this is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a judgment of, because I knew she was slaying. Like she was hitting poses I've never seen before.
Yeah, I was.
But it was
notes.
just like, it was so random because of what we were surrounded by, and like everyone's just literally reading books, and like it's silent outside, and then you just like hear like a photographer giving directions, and it did disrupt the peace a little bit.
No, it definitely did, but for good reason, okay? So then while she's doing it, like I'm just trying to hype her up because everyone else is just giving like nasty stank face looks.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, Soleil, pop off. You look amazing. You're stunning. You're beautiful. And she comes out of the pool. She's like, you're beautiful. And I'm like, I love your shoes. And she's like, I love your shoes. And then we were like just talking and chit-chatting it up. And then I was like, what's your Instagram? Like, I'd love to follow you. And so then I give her my phone and she puts it in and like locks my phone. So like, I'm not gonna like go fucking look her up like right then and there. And I was like, I can't wait to see your pictures, like blah, blah, blah. And then we were just like talking about her son is a Sagittarius and my son's a Sagittarius and about her son's birthday was that weekend.
And then
her husband, I was like, oh, is that your husband? She was like, yeah, that's my husband. And I like waved at her husband. And then we just like chit chatted for a little bit more. And then her photographer was like, give me your phone. And then he followed himself, or he followed me on his phone actually. Anyways, and so I was like, like they're gonna think I'm cool.
And then they had to leave pretty quickly.
Cutting my story.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, I see where you're going. Got you.
So I was giving her, my, when she saw my phone, and I was like, oh, they're gonna think I'm cool because I have like, 300,000 followers. I'm like, that's cool. Like, that's kind of cool. And anyways, and so then they're like, we're going to the spa, and I'm like, oh my gosh, have such a good birthday, queen, because it's her birthday too. She's a Virgo, and she walks away. And so then I'm like, I just want to see if I like want to follow these people because sometimes, and I'm out and about and people are like, oh, let me follow you. And then I'm like, I really don't want to follow them. So I was like, let me see what's up. It's Angela motherfucking Simmons. And I didn't know who that woman was until literally that second. I was like, who is this? She has 7.9 million followers. Who is Angela Simmons? And so then I Google it and it says married to Yo Gotti. And I'm like, was that Yo Gotti? And I was like, wait, I tell all my hoes to rick it up. Break it down. Back it up.
Bag it up.
Fuck it up. Fuck it up. Break it up. Break it up. Why won't you sing? I made love to a stripper. First I had to tip her. She said, show me that money. 200 ones. I am something.
I can't sing that part. I can do break it up.
Anyways, so we love that song. And so Yo Gotti, that's her husband. Anyway, so we were like, oh my God. And that's what you get for being fucking nice, guys. That's what you get for being fucking nice. And now we're Instagram friends. And then she told me that she loved aesthetics. And if she was ever in Dallas, she'd get a facial. But this is before I knew that she was Angela Simmons. And I just think that's so dope. And then she got a Himalayan Birkin and all kinds of slay things from Yo Gotti. He blessed her on her birthday.
While they were at the resort. Yeah.
So really, really cool story. That we met Yo Gotti and his beautiful, stunning wife, Angela Simmons, without even knowing who the fuck they were.
Yeah, and it's funny because, I know Rake It Up, and I've gotten down to that song a few times myself, but I had no idea who Yo Gotti was.
But I probably would have made him hate me because I would have been like, I tell all my hoes,
you would have.
Rake it up.
You have...
Because I have no filter and I could have
zero filter. Like, if it comes to her brain, she's like, I have to sing his song to him.
Yeah,
like, of course I do.
I have to serenade this man.
So that was the end of that day. And then
We went to dinner.
We did go to dinner. I don't remember that dinner. I just remember it wasn't that great. And yeah, that's it.
No highlights on that.
Yeah.
Then the next day was the boat day with our boy Paul, aka Oki.
Okay.
And he and I bonded over 80s music. And he actually took a picture that is featured on Kourtney Kardashian's Instagram of her and what's his name? Travis? Yeah, Travis Barker. And he said they were like in love and like all over each other on the boat. And it was like very cutesy. And then he met Lady Gaga and Adele. And yeah, he met a lot of really cool people. And so we were like just your average motherfucking Joes. And I'm like so sorry that we're not like bajillionaires. It's just us.
No.
But he was super chill and down to earth. And we had like a lot in common because he was adopted. Tyler is adopted. And what else?
Spicy snacks.
Oh yeah, he and I
loves
love hot sauce. We bonded over our hot sauce love and 80s music. And it was a really fun day. The weather was good. It looked like we were on Mars. We had such a good time.
And not to jump ahead, but we had to do some adjusting with the itinerary just based on what we wanted to do. So originally we had done the boat day on Savanna's birthday, but it had to get moved to Thursday, and
it rained that day.
It rained on her birthday. And so if we would have had the boat day, everything worked out. Like God was watching over her on this trip because everything was, well, not everything was perfect,
but mostly.
Most of it.
And then the next day was horseback riding. And then we went horseback riding, and that was a really fun day.
And that was the day of the private dining.
Yes. And then we went back to the room and we watched Spirit, which is like my favorite movie of all time. If you guys haven't seen it, you need to. It's a true story, and the horse is still alive. And actually, he celebrated his 29th birth, 32. He either turned 29 or 32. I don't know. But Spirit is alive and well, and that's amazing. And it's the first movie I ever cried to when I was a kid. So it was just like, I cried like 4 times during that movie. And then I think that's why it fucked me up for my birthday, because my birthday was the next day. And I think watching Spirit really just like got me down because there's a lot of symbolism in it, and it's really sad, like not to get political, but like, you know, it's stolen land. Like Americans stole the land. And it was like, you know, they tried to capture the horse. It's just like so poetic, okay? So like there's a free wild horse in Utah, and then the Americans capture him to make him their workhorse. And then they also capture a Native American man, and then they somehow sneak out together, right? The horse and the Native American man. And, you know, the horse thinks he's going to be free. No, then the Native American man captures him and keeps him as his horse. And so it's like a whole mind fuck because you're like rooting for the Native American man. And then he takes the horse and like makes him, you know, a prisoner. And then finally, though, towards the end, the Native American man lets him free with his other horse. And then they go and trot off into the sunset. But it's just like, you know, cool that has underlying themes of, you know, politics.
I watched Savanna cry 5 separate times throughout the movie. Like she was just...
And I don't cry. I ain't no bitch. It takes so much for me to cry. But I've been crying so much lately. Like, what is wrong with me? I went years without crying. Like, I would only cry, like the last 6 years, I would only cry if I was like so mad that that's like the only thing I could do other than murder someone. Like that, it was either go to prison or cry.
Yeah, no, it's
like I don't cry over like sad, like things like that wouldn't make me sad. Like I wouldn't get sad about stuff. Like someone hurt my feelings or said some shit to me. Like I didn't cry. But now, a fucking Disney movie, a DreamWorks movie. My bad.
No, it's like you're pregnant without being pregnant. Isn't that what happens when you're pregnant? Like
I didn't cry much. Well, yes, I did cry a lot when I was pregnant. Yeah. I cried a ton when I was pregnant. Yeah, especially when there was the buffalo sauce shortage that like fucked.
But so I wanted to give Savanna for her birthday a private dining experience. And so basically they like, I think, you know, they do better food. It's in one of their like remote locations and it's all like done up and like they do cool lighting. And so that's what I always try to do for Savanna for birthday or Christmas or anything like that, is something experience-wise. And obviously she was taking me on this trip, so that was like an experience in and of itself. So I was like, what can I provide during this trip that'll be an enhancement of it? So and I know she normally, like when her and Lance went to Anguilla for his birthday. They did a private dining. And so I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. We'll go with the private dining. And so in advance of this private dining, we booked this 6 weeks before we arrived. And they asked for dining preferences. If there's one thing, and if y'all don't know yet about Savanna, this girl
What
only...
were you gonna call me? What were you gonna say? You gonna say this bitch? Say it.
Never.
Say it.
I've never called her that word in my life. It's a dirty term.
Okay. Well, I love lying too.
She only eats chicken. And it's not that complicated, right?
And turkey.
If I told you she only eats chicken.
If it flies with me.
Yeah, but
besides a duck. But ducks don't really fly.
But I always feel like you like chicken more than turkey anyway, so it's just making it easier to just say chicken. Like, not why even complicate it? Because if I start saying she only eats chicken, beef, turkey, like, you know,
I don't eat beef.
I know, but never mind. So I told them she only eats chicken, and I do not eat seafood. I eat everything else. Just not seafood.
Or sour cream.
Well, that's, again...
Or sauce.
But with stuff like that, I can pick around it, you know? Mm. And so, but it's like, I don't want to be served a cod.
So... say something else. Anyway.
So we had been having issues with our dietary preferences up until this point of the private dining. And so the night before the private dining, I was like, you know what? I have a feeling that they're going to mess this up.
I got a feeling inside my bones. It goes electric, baby, when you turn me on. All through my city, all through my zone. 'Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket. Got that good soul in my feet. Got that hot pocket in my pocket. The way it pops. Woo! And I can't take it. I don't know. Happens so magically. Thank you.
So I had a feeling.
Inside my bones.
So I went up to the front desk and I was like, hey, we have the private dining tomorrow. I just want to look over the menu y'all have created for it just to make sure. She's like, oh yeah, we have it here. Prints out the menu. It is all seafood. The one thing I said...
mussels, shrimpers, caviar.
Yeah, and no, literally. And I was like, that's the one thing that both of us don't eat. Like, it's not even like they put beef on the menu or they put, like, I was like, oh, Savanna can't have that. No, it was like the whole menu was, they went out of their way to make it so that we wouldn't have dinner.
No, they wanted us to be skinny. They're like, you gotta fit through that rattlesnake canyon somehow.
And so I reiterated the dietary preferences and she was like, oh, that's weird. We'll get it changed. I was like, okay, sure. Next day we go to the private dining.
First of all, literally looks like we're about to get, like, I was worried that he was going to, like, get down on one knee.
I was going to propose. Yeah, it was so romantic.
It was the most romantic. Probably more romantic than anything Lance has ever done for me.
Well, the funny thing is I told them that we were best friends. Like, I'm not her husband, like, blah, 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 blah. Again, I mean, not surprised that they didn't listen about that.
Thank God I'm married, though, because... like, everywhere we go, people think we're married. So, like, if I was single and, like, trying to find a man, I would never find a man. Ever. Anywhere we go. Because he, like, he dresses very, like, you wouldn't know.
Okay.
He needs to just start wearing a Speedo.
I'm okay on that.
Or, like, a rainbow shirt.
Anyway. So, yeah, we sit down. First of all, they, like... take 15 extra minutes from when we were booked, and it was already late. It was an 8 p.m. reservation.
You're giving the man.
No, but I'm just saying, like, we were waiting. No, yeah. I mean, like, again, if it's a private dining, it's not like we're waiting on a table to open up. There's no one out there. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Just seat us. And we were hungry and we were tired.
They were just dethorning all the thorns off the flowers.
No, they weren't, because I got stabbed by the flowers. So... we walk out and it's dead silent out there, super dark, so many candles, a bouquet of roses on the table. We sit down and this man walks up and goes, good evening, Mr. Jacoby and Miss Boda. Like blah, 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 blah. So there's this ceramic cup upside down in the middle of the table. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, what is that for? Like, is it for tea or is it for like a hot, like, what is it for? This man in front of us, it's like, you know, it would be so much better if it was in a crowded dining room, but the fact that it was dead, the most silent silence you would ever hear in your life out in this.
And then how just like dramatic he was.
No, so he picked up this cup and there's just rose petals underneath it. And you know that meme of the guy like salting the meat?
Salt Bay?
Sure. So he picks up, isn't that like a clothing brand? Anyway, he picks up these petals and sprinkle like fairy dusts it over the entire table. And Savannah and I couldn't do anything but bust out laughing in front of us.
So hard.
Because I was like, this is so fucking ridiculous. Like, why
he was
me?
like, do you want me to take them away? And we were like, nah, keep them.
And it was so absurd.
Anyway, and then he comes out
With
the first
caviar.
course that has caviar on it. And we're like, we don't need that. And then he was like, okay. And then we order a Caesar, and I'm like, no pancetta for me because I don't eat pork. And then he comes back with pancetta on my Caesar.
And it was so dark out there, you couldn't see.
Could not see.
And so at that
But anyways, at long story long, they comped the whole thing. So
yeah, they did.
And they comped a night off our room, and they comped our massages. So we saved like a ton of money. Well, I saved a ton of money. So a win is a win. So I was like, maybe next time I'm just going to go and just be like, I eat beef, pork, shrimp, all of it, and then just gaslight
No, that's
them.
bad karma.
I know. But anyways, yeah. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have cared if it was like a big resort. Like I've stayed at a lot of bigger resorts, and like obviously like, you know, private
service.
dining is a big one, but like just in general, like for the tier that Amman holds themselves to, especially they just got a Michelin star.
No, they got 3 Michelin keys, which is the highest distinction any hotel can get.
Yeah. Like that shouldn't be happening. Like if we were staying at like, you know, a Marriott or a Hilton or even a Four Seasons or one of those, like I wouldn't have expected that. But I've stayed at hotels that are way less expensive, way less nice, have 150 plus rooms, and like they treat you like the Prince of Persia.
Yeah. Like you sit down and they're like, good evening, Mrs. Bota. I see that you only eat chicken. We have prepared a wonderful course of meal for you.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
And that is the exact opposite of what we got in a place that only has 50 people max at like a time.
Yeah. But I think it's because Americans don't work hard.
Yeah.
I think like when you go like to the Caribbean or Mexico or out of country, like I feel like they just have better work ethic.
Yeah. So then
I do. And you know what? Cancel me for that. I said what I fucking said.
And you know what this brings
Except
us to?
SBA. I have hard workers.
And you know what this brings us to?
What?
The last night, our dinner. So there's this man, and he, you know, we're like talking to him. He's like young and cool, and he's giving kind of hip. And so we're talking to him, and then he starts telling us that like we should go out with him to the local bars after. And we were like, I was like, does that town even have bars? He like tells me what it's called, like walks away, and I'm like, I'm gonna look this up because like, what is this? It is, you couldn't find it anywhere on the internet. Like it was non-existent, and I was like, he's trying to murder us. And then his buddy comes up, another server comes up to try to. He tries to convince us to come as well.
And homeboy was
he's tweaking. No, like actually tweaking. Like I was like, is he having an attack in front of me? Because I was so caught off guard because he was in our server. He hadn't interacted with us the entire night. Yeah. He's like, and like he's like twitching and like
yeah. It's crazy, guys. Like this man was acting full. He wanted Tyler.
Yeah, his friend or our server came up and told us that he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we flew to Tampa.
Yeah, and then we flew to Tampa. All right. End of this story. Until next time, me loves. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I hope you guys enjoyed this full recount of our trip.
A lot of info.
We love
it's
you
just because we want you guys to feel like you were there.
Yeah. I used to get in trouble at the beginning when I came on the podcast because I would just like give an inside joke and Savannah would be like, dude, they don't know what you're talking about. And
were there any inside jokes that happened that we missed?
No. I mean, look.
We got in our first fight. We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, we got into a fight because
of you.
Mommy didn't want to leave.
And you weren't advocating for me.
That's not true. It's just that I had already advocated and did the best I could, and that wasn't good enough.
No, it wasn't.
So.
All right. It was more the tone for me.
My tone?
Yeah, you were like a little fucking ratty chihuahua.
We love you guys.
Good night.